One of the hardest things in business is to really focus on what brings in the majority of your income. Now, I have this problem in my business, or I've had this problem in my business, where I offer different services and I've been mainly profiting from the service line, which is guaranteed income, but it takes up a huge amount of work. And you know, when you have a business, cash flow is important. We all know how important cash flow is. Without a healthy cash flow, your business can't survive. But the mistake I made, and I've made, well, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but I would say the process I've gone through with setting up my business is focusing a lot on offering this service line, which brings in a steady cash flow, and it's good in some respects, but it takes up a huge amount of time. And it's something which I've been trying to get out of, even though the business is still young. It's something I've been trying to get out of, relying on that service line, because it just simply takes up too much time for the rest of the business, and I can't develop the other service lines. So I think that's one of the hardest things when running a business is identifying, and not necessarily identifying, I would say first standing back and having that perspective to understand which aspects of your business are generating what money, and being able to do something about it. Because from what I've seen, it's very easy to become reliant on the steady sources of income, but they don't necessarily serve you well, or they serve you the best in the long term. So that's what I've been doing. I've been sort of taking stock, I would say, of the performance of the business and in its different areas and the different service lines that I offer, and really seeing, what generates the most money, but also what takes the most amount of time. Now, for me, every business is different, but for me, I don't really want to spend a lot of time on something which I'm not that interested in, only to get a very sort of a low value sale. So for me, I don't want to do that. So what I've been focusing on is repackaging that low service, that low charge offering, and increasing the prices. So I've been increasing the prices by about £200, which might seem like a lot of money, but the base service is it's about £200 more. Now it might not seem like a big difference, but I'm finding that people are still taking up that offer, which is quite interesting, and it tells you a lot about. Obviously, there's different conditions to all of this because there are market conditions, and there's the source of these leads and things like that, which play a difference. But what I've found is that increasing the price hasn't necessarily stopped the transactions from coming in, but it has allowed me to profit more. But the other thing I'm trying to do, as well as increasing the price, is to focus on high income generating service lines. Whilst they do need a lot more legwork initially, over time they will pay off and they will be generating a significant chunk of my business, with nowhere near as much effort as the sort of the low hanging fruit. So I think what I'm trying to say is that if you have a business and you are generating money from the business, but it's taking up a lot of your time, you need to, and assuming you're a single business owner, as in there's no one else in the business, you need to really ask yourself, when will you put all of this to an end? Because you can't keep exchanging your time for a turnover or sales value that you're not happy with. You need to ask yourself, okay, when does this all end and where is this all going? For me, it dawned on me when I just realized, wow, I'm doing all of these things, but it's only generating this much. Whereas if I do this, it generates it, in less than, with less than half the jobs. So I think, you have to really just stand back from time to time if you're a small business owner and ask yourself that question, whether the stuff you're selling should be sold. And if it should be sold, if it's being sold at the right price, and whether you have other products or services which you can be developing which will actually generate higher returns for your business, and whether you can delegate any of that work to someone who's if you have someone, delegate that to someone who can take responsibility of that product or service line. Because I think the most important thing as a business owner is to maintain perspective and to focus on high income generating activities and things which really move the needle for your business. Fair enough if you want to stay as a single business owner, but I'm talking to people who want to grow their business. It doesn't pay. It might seem like it pays, but it doesn't really pay to focus on offering things which don't generate a lot of money, and when you have to put hours and hours of work in. I think there's a time and a season for it, but I don't think it gets you to that next level of growth quickly, if that's what you're after, which is what I'm after. I want to go quickly, but also sustainably. So yeah, that's my piece of advice to you. If you feel like you're running around like a headless chicken, you're very busy in your business, but you're just not seeing the returns that you want, really stand back and have a look at your offering and really be harsh with yourself. I think a lot of the time as well, there's also this thing where we undersell ourselves, we undervalue ourselves, where we think, no one's going to pay that much for what I'm offering. But you'd be surprised, Obviously, it sometimes takes things such as branding and reputation and experience to be able to charge the higher amounts. But you'd be surprised how little effort you need to put in order to command a higher rate. So really have a think about it. If you are in that position where you're stuck and you just feel so busy, but you're not getting what you want in terms of your business, and really see whether it is worth continuing down the path that you're continuing. For me, it hasn't been. It's been worth it to get my business to this stage, but it's not. It doesn't serve me in the future stages of my business's growth. So I'm having to pivot. I'm having to, as I said, increase the prices and focus on the other service lines as well. And actually, in some respect, turn down work because it's quite short-sighted for me to keep taking on work that eats into my time so much. Everyone has their strengths, but for me, that's not my strength. So yeah, let me know if you've been in the same situation that I've been in. Let me know if you are in this situation and you need a bit of help. And I think the one final tip I would say is, what I found helpful is putting down all of my sales and business activities in a spreadsheet and finding out, I know it sounds obvious, but people don't do it. Putting down all of my sales and finding out the split between X service line, Y service line, finding out the split between the different service lines, how much I'm charging for each service line. And that's been really helpful because I can see in numbers where I'm generating more money, and I can also see where I'm spending a lot of time. So that's something which you can do. So give it a go. Let me know how that works out for you. And if you want to have a chat about what you could be doing, then let me know. I'm not going to charge or anything like that. So yeah, let me know.